Hello and welcome to a video on exporting your vector map diagnostic file. In this video, we want to cover what the diagnostic file will do for you for a vector displacement map. The purpose of this test is to bring a vector displacement map from ZBrush into your external renderer and find out what settings are going to work best for that particular render. So let's go ahead first and take a look at the options that we have above here. So the first option we have here is a tangent. So with this on, we're going to be creating a tangent vector displacement map. With it off, we'll be creating a world map. We have the capability of exporting a 32-bit tiff and EXR file, or if we turn this off, we'll be exporting a 16-bit tiff file. Then below that, we have our S normals and we have our smooth UVs. So with this on, we'll be smoothing UVs of our vector displacement map, and with it off, we won't be smoothing our UVs. Then of course with S normals, we'll be smoothing the normals with this on, and if this off, we're not going to be smoothing the normals when we create our vector displacement map. And then we have our create and export map button here. But before we start exporting maps, we need to find out what settings work best for our external render. And that's where this create diagnostic files comes in handy. So let's first take a look at what happens when we do a 32-bit map. You can see once we click the create diagnostic file, ZBrush is going to save a file with everything that is turned on within our subpalette in the file name. So let's go ahead and save this as an EXR. But before we save, I want you to take note that once the save is done, to keep an eye above here in the top of the UI, as ZBrush is going to indicate what the diagnostic file needs for offsetting within an external application. So you can see once the file is done, ZBrush gives you the factor of 1 that is needed for your external application when rendering this vector displacement. So let's see what happens when we do a 16-bit map. You can see that the file name now says 16 bits, and we are now exporting a TIFF file. Let's go ahead and save that and see what depth factor we get at the top. You can see that the factor now is 2.1. You're going to need this number when exporting vector displacement maps that are 16-bit for your external applications. Now that we know how to export a 16 and 32-bit diagnostic file, what do we do with these files in our external render? Let's take a look what the diagnostic file looks like in Maya 2012. You can see here in Maya 2012, this is our diagnostic OBJ that automatically gets exported with a bitmap and also our vector displacement map. You can see here in the final render of this vector displacement, what we're going to be looking for is a perfect sphere. Where there's a perfect sphere, we want to take a note of that number that the sphere is sitting right above. You can see for this particular map, number 7 in Maya 2012 for a world vector displacement map. So now that we know that, what do we do with this number? Let's go back to ZBrush and see how we can apply this number 7. Now within ZBrush, we need to apply this number 7 to our preferences, and in our import-export options, you'll have a switch that says flip and switch, and you'll have tangent flip and switch. Now when you're dealing with the world vector displacement map, that's your flip and switch. When you're creating a tangent vector displacement map, you're going to need to adjust your tangent flip and switch. So all we need to do now is change this to the number 7 as it is here, and any vector displacement map that is a world map exported from ZBrush, we know will render in Maya 2012, and that's exporting a diagnostic file for your external renders. Thank you for watching this video, and please continue to watch more on pixelogic.com.